The Pacers were taking control of the NBA Finals.
Siakam down the lane, kicks it inside for Toppin. Largest lead of the game.
Up 2-1, at home, playing with confidence, crowd roaring. OKC was cooked. The biggest upset in over a decade was about to happen. Unfortunately, they forgot to game plan for him. From phantom fouls to game-changing whistles, officiating has tainted countless playoff moments. It's sad, it cheapens the game, and it casts a shadow over the entire league. But once again, the NBA is at the center of a controversy. This time, in the heart of the 2025 Finals. And just like that, the course of NBA history may have changed forever. The Pacers might be in real trouble. Game 4 felt like their Game 7. And losing that, with Halliburton now dealing with a calf strain, their chances are slipping fast. Just look at these odds. Most people see OKC closing it in 6. Some still believe Indy can force a Game 7. And on Kalshi, you can literally trade on that. Just click yes or no, that's it, you're in. Trading on Kalshi is how I personally have been making this year's playoffs way more fun to watch. It's fast, simple, and here's the crazy part. Kalshi is legal in all 50 states. And it's not just sports. Kalshi has markets on almost everything. Politics, movies, music, crypto, sports, and more. So, if you're ready to level up how you watch the game, use my link in the description because the first 500 traders who trade $100 will get a free $10 credit. Yup, free. No strings attached. So, if you're watching the finals, like me, why not make it even more exciting? Check out the link in the description to get started. NBA referees are supposed to be neutral. No bias, no agenda, just call the game straight. But one referee has become impossible to ignore. His name is Scott Foster, widely known around the league as the Extender. Over the years, he's built a reputation for controversial whistles, the kind that just happen to stretch playoff series, protect certain stars, etc., etc. Earlier this season in a Knicks game, Scott was seen limping around the court, and by the end of the third quarter, he couldn't continue. Calf injury. The NBA world wished him a speedy recovery, but fans were probably thinking, maybe, just maybe, the playoffs would feel a little more fair this time. Now, fortunately, the calf healed, but unfortunately, so did his whistle. In Game 1 of the second round, the Nuggets stole a win from OKC, and if they had managed to steal another one, OKC would have been dead in the water. But here's the thing. OKC isn't just another playoff team. They've got the MVP, gilgeous-alexander, a player the league is clearly invested in to become the future face of the league. So, Game 2? It mattered. A lot. If Denver went up 2-0, the series was basically over. But, guess who just so happened to suit up for Game 2? Yeah, that's right, Scott Foster. And the man didn't miss a single beat. I mean, 11 free throws for SGA, Jokic fouled out, and a blowout game. Denver never stood a chance. Series extended. Now, here's where it gets even more suspicious. So, the other game Scott Foster officiated in this series was Game 7, another blowout. Then, what was the next OKC game he showed up for? Game 2 versus Minnesota, another dominant win. And once again, SGA lived at the line, 15 free throw attempts. That's 3 for 3 when Foster's involved with OKC, And what about after that? He wasn't on the floor, but for Game 2 of the NBA Finals against the Pacers, he was working in the replay center. And yes, OKC won that Game 2. That's 4 for 4. Then came Game 4, a golden chance for the Pacers to take a commanding 3-1 lead and all but shut the door on OKC. But, as soon as I saw Scott Foster was officiating, I knew something was about to go down. But I wasn't the only one. People were literally changing their predictions the moment his name got announced.
No. If Scott is here, it's extended. So let me go ahead and put the real jersey on.
I expected Foster to leave his fingerprints all over this game, and it didn't take long. In the second quarter, he hits Obi Toppin with a flagrant foul. Now, from every angle, it looked like a hard playoff foul. That's it. Nothing dirty, nothing crazy. In fact, it looks like Caruso sorta jumps into him a bit as well. Even the commentators didn't think it was going to be a flagrant.
Well, we all agreed with Steve Javie, and we don't agree with Scott Foster. Now, he comes in, it's a hard shove, but again, as Steve Javie pointed out, the player was not in a vulnerable position.
And I thought the left hand going at the ball was enough to make it like he's making a play on the ball.
After that call was made, though, was the moment I said to myself, here we go. And sure enough, the fourth quarter delivered exactly what I feared. SGA was untouchable. Every whistle went his way. Now, to be fair, the Pacers didn't help themselves by missing free throws and playing like garbage down the stretch. But let's be honest, they were playing 8-on-5 with the way Scott Foster and his crew were calling this one. Like, seriously, how is this a shooting foul? Chet spins into Nesmith, and suddenly he's getting free throws? Everyone was stunned. Soon after that, the SGA parade to the line began. 8 free throws. The man took 8 free throws in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry averaged 18 shots a game this season, and he only averaged 4 free throws per game. Yet, here was SGA taking 8 in the fourth quarter alone. And those calls? Just soft. Ticky-tack. Fouls you'd never see get called against OKC. And to make it worse, this was the dagger of the game.
Gilgeous-Alexander spins, turns, shoots, and a foul.
A bad shot by SGA where he got bailed by the whistle. There was barely any contact, marginal at best, but it sealed the game. That's 5 for 5. Every time Scott Foster was involved in an OKC game this postseason, they won. 5 for 5. Tell me that's not suspicious. I mean, really, one of the most controversial refs ever just happens to work a key game that gets decided at the line? But then, to make it worse, he even threw out a fan just for calling him Tim Donaghy. The fans weren't quiet about it either. Social media exploded. Thread after thread of people who watched the game live, all saying the same thing. Now, sure, some people will pull up stats and say, look, Scott Foster's not biased. The numbers are balanced. But come on, he's not dumb. You think someone like that is going to make it obvious? If you're going to cheat, you don't make it obvious. You plan every move. You run the scenarios in your head over and over. You make sure the numbers look clean. Nothing that raises red flags, but just enough to shift the outcome when it matters. I mean, if I were a corrupt ref, I wouldn't just cheat. I'd make it look like I never touched a thing. Like, players in the league don't just call him the extender for no reason, you know? Take Game 6 of the 2016 NBA Finals, for example. A potential Game 7 between the Warriors and the Cavs meant massive ratings. And, sure enough, it became the most watched NBA game since the Jordan era. But in that Game 6, Steph Curry was hit with a string of soft, ticky-tack fouls, and eventually fouled out. And who was officiating that game? Scott Foster. Now, some people might say, well, if he's always extending series, then why didn't he push the 2021 Finals to Game 7? Simple. He hates Chris Paul. The bias here isn't even hidden. It's straight up legendary. I mean, Chris Paul has a career winning percentage around 60%, but in games officiated by Scott Foster, it drops down to 10%. 10%. And if that wasn't enough, Foster is directly tied to the biggest referee scandal in NBA history. During the height of the Tim Donaghy betting scandal, Foster had a shockingly close relationship with Donaghy, the convicted felon and disgraced ex-ref. And honestly, the evidence looks pretty overwhelming. Now, what exactly is going on with Scott Foster? Is the NBA actually giving him the green light to extend series? Is he really favoring certain players over others? We'll never get a straight answer from the league. This is the kind of secret they'll take to the grave. But Tim Donaghy, the former NBA referee who went to prison for betting on games, said something that makes a lot of sense. NBA referees understood it was in their best interest to protect the league's stars. Players like Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq were rarely called for fouls because fans paid top dollar to see them on the court, not sitting on the bench. Referees who followed this unwritten rule were rewarded with playoff games, bigger paychecks, and more respect. Favoritism wasn't just accepted, it was incentivized. So, when it comes to the NBA and officiating, I don't think Adam Silver is making late-night phone calls and whispering, "Do it." This isn't a mafia movie. There's too much at stake. If that kind of call or email ever leaked, it could collapse a billion-dollar empire. Instead, I think it's exactly how Tim described it. Referees understand what the league wants, and they fall in line. That's not a conspiracy. That's incentive structure. In science, it's called positive reinforcement. Do what the system wants, get rewarded. Step out of line, get sidelined. So, in my opinion, the NBA keeps things just shady enough to boost ratings, but not so shady that it looks rigged. Refs know the balance they have to maintain. And the result? A more entertaining product, at least in theory. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and of course, check out this next video right here.